How'd you get so introspective? You know, it's something you kind of have to unlock. Some people do it through hard times. Others may be
Hmm.
blessed, just had it all the time. Like, what made you just
Yeah.
constantly ponder things like that?
Yeah. So this is probably, ironically, the hardest thing I went through wasn't my dad. And it is over a girl who's probably the only woman I've ever loved. And it was when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
And we dated for like 2 years. So, I haven't really been in a relationship since because I've been so picky because of it and hurt. Anyway, we dated in high school, outside of high school for about a year, totally in love and infatuated. So when we broke up, that was super hard for me. And, I was a different person back then. I was depressed, suicidal. I mean, I didn't sleep for 7 straight days and I didn't eat for four, kind of bad.
Whoa.
And I had to go to the hospital for 10 days to be like watched and stuff.
Mm.
And it was something I think about a lot. And obviously, while you're going through it, I mean, I was running from the cops who were trying to find me. I was texting people horrible things that I'm going to take my life, all this horrible stuff.
Wow.
After high school, my friends either moved across the country, joined the military. They weren't around no more. The woman that I loved isn't around no more. I'm gotta be packing up to go to school, be around nobody, not my family no more. I'm the oldest. I've always been around a family and people, and so after all of that, when I finally won that battle, it only kind of happened when I'm going to preach kind of God a little bit here. It only happened when I
By all means.
first kind of talked about, and I've always believed in God, but like once you actually like accept it, it's a little bit different. And I'm not going to say, wow, I believe in God. Oh my goodness, my life changed. But when I started believing in God and myself because of it, I stopped taking antidepressants. I stopped taking the help me sleep pills. All that stuff these doctors were shoving down my throat and wasn't really doing anything anyways. So, not talking about like Andrew Tate, because I'm not a huge like Andrew Tate D rider, but I do love Andrew Tate. When he says that about depression, it's 1,000% the truth. I've growing up now, I'm just like pharmaceutical stuff like just seems like a lie. It just seems like I'm being sold a product that I'm supposed to just keep go buying and all this stuff. And like
Mm.
you look in like the Tom Cruise interview and he was getting yelled at for
Yes.
everything he was saying about it, and you're like, wait a second, that makes perfect sense. It's altering things, and yeah, so I got off all that, all of it. And I did so much therapy, it made me sick to my stomach. And therapy can be good for people, I know it. But when I went to a therapist and I was like, yeah, my dad died, suicide, drugs and stuff, she's like, oh man, that sounds like you have addiction in your family. I'm like, no, duh. I don't know. Just things that they would say was like a no duh thing to me. Like, why am I talking to you? No disrespect or nothing.
Right.
But it's because, like I've been kind of saying, I've always been introspective because I've been on my own super young. I had to think about why my parents are yelling at each other and stuff like that and filter it through my head. And it wasn't until maybe after this huge tragedy, like I was saying, when I was young, because after all that, I went and lived alone for college, like I was saying, alone, alone. No roommates, dorm mates, nothing. And I never learned more about myself than I did by living alone, alone. Because when you wake up, you hear nothing, you see no one, you come home, you see no one, you hear nothing, I didn't even have like pets or nothing.
Wow.
You realize you're just on your own and you got to be okay with yourself. Otherwise, you're going to kill yourself. Because I almost did. I don't even
Right.
think about that because of how grossed out I am by my past actions. Like it is truly, unfortunately, I had to go through it and learn those lessons, but it is deplorable. I would never wish that on anybody. So I believe you can have depression, but I don't really think that like
I
you just
agree too.
stay in
It's
depression.
Yeah, it's transient. So what you were saying about the
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals, I believe 100%. It's like the way to deal with your emotions is to actually deal with them. Big pharma likes to shove pills down your throat and numb you from everything. Their whole idea is if we just
Yeah,
numb the
yeah.
shit out of you so you wake up and the whole world's gray, you feel nothing. Eventually you'll get over it. It's like, but I need your pills to feel gray all the time. And the moment people get off the pills, the color comes back, the strong emotions come back, and oh, you didn't deal with anything. Now you're back full in with the trauma, and it's like, shit, now I got to go back on my pills. And then that's what Tom Cruise or everybody was really saying. That's like, dude, we're not dealing with the problem. You're just covering up the symptom, and making
Right.
millions in the
Yeah.
meantime.
That's especially it. And man, if you just watch anything and you don't realize that it's just people trying to control the way you're thinking and make you like buy something or buy into an idea, like you're truly just brain dead because there's nothing you look at that isn't trying to manipulate you in some way. Not
Exactly.
one thing. So it's like it is funny how people like buy into the things they buy into, and it's because of what they watch and what they hear. And
Coping too. I've been thinking
yeah,
about that. It's like a form of coping. For example, materialism today, where they're being told to buy things, it's just them filling a hole of having no self-respect, no self-esteem, self-love, right? They come from, say, a similar childhood or something that's just less than ideal, and they don't get attention that they've needed to grow into, well-balanced adults. Well, how could you fill the void buying things? How could you fill another void eating shit all the time, right? You got all these people that are overweight now that cope with food. Right? It makes them feel good. It's chasing dopamine. Now it's social media. Everybody has a phone. Like back in our times, and we're not even fucking grandpas, it's just like we didn't have social media the way these kids do today. And they really have no coping skills with whatever. So now imagine you go down the rabbit hole of TikTok and you see some shit. And now you're plunged into that community. And all of a sudden you got crazy colored hair and you believe a certain thing and you start to look a certain way. And that's just the cope. But we can't say that out loud for obvious
no,
reasons.
and that's the thing too, because nowadays, if it's something bad happens to a kid and blah blah blah, they go to TikTok, start talking to all these people who have the same mentality. When I had things happening, I straight up ran away to like the woods because I didn't have these social platforms to run to. I didn't have people to try to affirm what I'm feeling and tell me what I should do and all this stuff. It was me. I had to go deal with it by myself.
I hope you enjoyed today's interview. And to find the full episode, head over to Locals and become a supporter. It would mean the world and help us have more honest, real conversations about the state of masculinity and manhood, unfiltered. Thank you guys once again. Take care.